Okay, there we go. Welcome to another episode of Crime Pays, but Botany doesn't. Look at the mist over there. Is that Cuyamaca Peak? Nah, maybe it's a little bit further down. Anyway, here we are in beautiful eastern San Diego County, California, near a little town called Guatay. Guatay. You can get crafty with that, however you want to pronounce that. I'm pretty sure it's Guatay, though. And we're going to show you a plant that's pretty restricted in its range. Only grows in about, I believe, 4 places in the United States and maybe 5 more down in Mexico. Okay, relatively close to the coast in Baja California. And it's one of my favorite trees. I've come here many times to worship at the altar of Tecate cypress. And you can see one of them up there. Is that a cypress? I think that is a cypress. Either a cypress or an oak. Oh, there's one, definitely a cypress next to it. Anyway, this whole mountain you're looking at is made out of a rock called gabbro, okay? Now, gabbro is an intrusive igneous rock. It's a coarse-grained, aka phaneritic rock, and it was cooled slowly underground from a molten state sometime during the early Cretaceous, so about 120 million years ago, 120 to 100 million years ago. And it's a rather odd rock because you don't usually get gabbro on the surface of the Earth. Como se dice, it's what composes most of the oceanic crust. So this is a deeper rock. It's a much deeper occurring plutonic rock than rhyolite or any of the volcanic shits. Okay, volcanicshits.com. You can coin it. I didn't copyright that phrase. Basalt, etc. Those are extrusive igneous rocks that cool relatively fast. Gabbro, like granite, cools very slowly. But unlike granite, gabbro has a lot of magnesium and iron. It's one of the ultramafic rocks. So it's an ultramafic intrusive igneous rock. And so, is it ultramafic? It might just be mafic. Anyway, there's a lot of fucking magnesium and iron in there, and it's very heavy. You can feel it. And of course, there's that, see that coarse grain? Okay, coarse grain, when you hear that in reference to a igneous rock, just means, igneous just means it cooled from a molten state, just means that it's got like the shimmery shit. It's got, you know what the shimmery shit is. It's got a relatively large crystal size, and that's because it cooled so slowly. Oftentimes 1 million or 2 million years. Whereas basalt cools in a couple days, So doesn't have time, basalt doesn't have time to form those that large grain size. So anyway, the red color here is from the gabbro weathering. I'm actually going to take this. You could take rocks all you want. If anyone tries to shame you for taking rocks, kick them in the balls. You know what? You don't need to do that. You don't need to get violent or aggressive, but you could certainly tell them to go take a hike or to go fuck themselves like I would. So anyway, it weathers because of all that iron. Reacts with the atmosphere and it weathers to that red, just like serpentine does, which is the state rock of California. Serpentine's a metamorphic rock, but it also weathers to red. Anyway, I'm going to shut the fuck up for now, and we're going to hike into the bush, hopefully not get covered in too many ticks. Unfortunately, we won't see any of the beautiful red diamond rattlesnakes that occur here because it's kind of chilly. We are at 3,500 feet, but this is a great fucking tree and it's some great fucking habitats. Let's go check it out. smells so good. They got some rain. Look at Artemisia. Is that Trident? No, is it? This is, okay, there we go. There's a sagebrush. Okay, Artemisia tridentata. This might be one of the more coastal varieties, but there's those flowers. There's those flower heads. See that? With their little forked styles poking out. Oh, it smells so good. One of the many fall-blooming composites, members of Asteraceae. It smells just so goddamn good. You break some of that off. Stick it in your ass. Stick it in your ear. Sniff it, whiff it. Oh, goddamn. You got scrub oaks. You got ceanothus. You got cercocarpus over here. Rose family, Rosaceae. Mountain mahogany is the name on it. You got the ceanothus. Is that Vericosus or what is that one? I don't know which one. There's like 80 species of ceanothus. But look at the wax. Buckthorn family here, Rhamnaceae. You got the nitrogen-fixing Frankia down there in the roots and what the shit. So it's going to be able to grow in this somewhat toxic gabbro soil. Gabbro can be pretty hard for many plants to grow in because it tends to be, oh, look at that. Look at that beautiful subject. It tends to be toxic, you know? It's chemically, it's pretty hard. Okay? That excess iron and that lack of nutrients like calcium and nitrogen can be pretty hard for some of the plants to endure. But oh, this is just a cluster. But we're gonna have to get on our hands and knees. There's definitely gonna be some ticks up here. Of course, you got Arctostaphylos because they can always endure. Arctostaphylos always seem to be able, aka the manzanita's blueberry family, Ericaceae, always seem to be able to endure the shitty soil. So you know, throughout my last 15 years of fucking around in the bushes looking for plants in California, you always want to look for the somewhat the toxic geology, the rare and obscure geology. Gabbro certainly fits that bill. And in being out there, you're going to encounter not only cypresses but manzanitas and a lot of scrub oaks too. So again, you get a weird soil type, okay, especially if it's produces chemical stresses for plants. Oh, look at it. You can see the cypresses over there. You get a weird soil type that produces chemical stresses on plants. You're going to get species that only occur, that have evolved to occur only on that soil type. And I should also mention that this entire plant community is adapted to fire too. Which makes it kind of weird when people build homes, insist on building homes there, and then are surprised when they burn down 30 years later. You know, but you can't fault them for it. All right, it really takes zooming out to see the bigger picture. But this is fire-prone ecology, aka pyrophytic ecology. Look at those cypresses. And we got to go through a corn maze of ticks and spiny plants to get to it. Yeah, do you like scrub oaks? Huh? Do you like members of the genus Quercus, the genus of oaks? There's a little acorn cap on there. That only get to about 4 or 5 feet tall. You know, but again, some of that might be just due to this fucked up geology, because this really is hard to grow, and this really is nutrient poor, okay? You're going to grow pigmead if you grow here. Of course, we got Adenostoma fasciculatum, okay, member of the rose family, Rosaceae, also got nitrogen-fixing bacteria in those roots, fascicled leaves, that's the name fasciculatum, and there's those old inflorescences. A showy white when they're going off. Okay, Louis, come here. Can we go over it? Let's go. Come on, it's time to go through here. Now, what we're going to have to do over here is crawl on our fucking hands and knees through a bunch of this scrub shit to get, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to go big. Oh, fuck. Come on, let's go. She's used to this. She don't mind. She said it's fine. Manzanitas especially hurt when you get stabbed with them, okay? But we're trying not to do too much damage to habitat. Come on, you ready? Let's go. We're going down here. I just got a fucking face full of decaying plant debris from this dead branch over here. It's not so bad. It's not so bad. Look at the duff. Look at the soil seed bank. So many fucking manzanita seeds in there. Oh, that's nice. Probably a rich fungal community. Look at how beautiful the gabbro is, though. Do you see that? Huh? You like the shiny stuff? Oh, God. It really is a rare geology. You know, you really got to appreciate it. And we're just, see, this is what happens. You come out the corn maze, okay? You just got more to go through. But we know they're that way. Look at the burl, okay? So that's the first key break in, you know, the Jepson flora. If you're trying to look through the 96 different species of manzanita, species and subspecies, and figure out what you're looking at. The first one is, does it have a burl or not? This one has a burl, meaning it's just basically it's a big storage trunk that when a fire comes through, it can resprout from. I gotta keep going. You know, pardon me for the shaky camera. But this is just what you got to do here. You got to climb through this stuff. I don't have the image stabilizer on because it limits me in other ways in terms of what I can put out there. I love this kind of habitat though. That's a nice Eriophyllum. I think that's Eriophyllum. Haven't been here in a few years. One of my favorite habitat types. This is definitely hard to get through. We might have to go around. There's a lot of dieback. I wonder what that's from on this man's. Could it be an introduced root rot parasite? Or is it just extended drought that they went through? But they did just get rain here soon, so recently, so we'll see. See, there's re-sprouting manzanitas from dead burls. And here's a dead burl right here. Wonder what fungus is just eating it. So beautiful, smells good. All right, there's a massive burl right there. Okay, look at it. Don't you ever crawl on your knees through this stuff? It's so pleasant. Yeah, Toyon, Heteromeles, Rosacea. Okay, let's keep going. Here we go. So one of the rarest trees in North America, the Tecate cypress, Hesperocyparis forbesii. That's really a clusterfuck. I haven't been here in, I guess it's been 3 years. But one of these branches fell down. But there's a whole grove of them up there, and some of them seem to be pretty long-lived for a cypress. They only live to be about, I don't know, I would guess maybe, 200 years, maybe, max. Yeah, this guy fell down. It's kind of sketchy. See, so, like, nice wood rat nest there. So this is what happens if you don't have a fire in a while. This is all going to burn, undoubtedly. Hopefully sooner than later. At some point in the next decade, probably, you have just this massive fuels buildup. So you suppress fire for too long. You can only, you're not going to suppress it completely. You're just gonna make the intervals longer in between fires. At which point, this really is kind of sketchy. I should put the camera down. At which point, when it finally does burn, you're gonna have a massive inferno as opposed to just a low burning cleansing fire. But last time I was here, this guy was half dead, but still up, still standing, and he's since fallen down, and it's all gonna burn, which it needs to at some point. And so it'll cleanse the area. Okay, Tecate cypress seeds, they're stay in these little cones, like a little soccer ball looking cone that stays closed until a fire comes through, which also actually makes them good for collecting because you can collect the seed any time of year. And they're starting to use these more in cultivation, which is nice because they're really great trees for cultivation. They grow fast as hell and they take the pruning well. So a fire will come through here, burn all this. The scrub oaks, the manzanitas, the circle carpus is all adapted to fire here. It'll come back. It cleans the ticks out too. I think that's a really good thing about fire is you get rid of those ticks. And I'm convinced that, Native Americans, one of the reasons they used to burn so much, okay, people say it's to improve hunting grounds. And I think a lot of it was just to get rid of the fucking ticks, okay? Because no one likes ticks. They're fucking heinous, man. I guess possums like ticks. No one else. Look how shaggy that bark is. The bark's normally not shaggy like that. Okay, just on that one because it's old. The bark is normally really smooth, kind of like a madrone or a crepe myrtle. Ooh, I see that. You got regeneration already. There's a cypress right there, and there's that bark. Only Tecate and Guadalupe cypress produce bark like that. Oh, and it smells too. I can smell the resin. Louie's having trouble getting through. Go around. You got to go around. Okay, she figured it out. She's going around. This thing's gonna go soon too. But again, each one of these trees is loaded with hundreds, if not thousands of cones, each cone containing a few hundred seeds. And again, the scales on that little soccer ball melt and drop the seed whenever there's a fire. Look at that. Look at that bark. Oh, that's nice. Look at that bark. See, it peels. You know what? The peeling, this is an old tree too. Oh, there's already termites going down on it. But, like I said, they don't live too long, unlike some of the other members of the family, the Cupressaceae, the redwood family. But look, there's that beautiful bark, that peeling, beautiful bark. Guadalupe cypress, which is somewhat closely related to this, only occurs on Guadalupe Island, about, 150 miles off the coast of Baja. Let's go through here, Louis. I think there's some good stuff. Here we go, a couple younger, healthier specimens, but look at the bark on it. It's like a pinkish purple. Look at that. Oh, that's nice. What a fucking great plant. Could see up in the canopy there. Okay, let's keep going. Fucking corn maze, man. This is the tallest I've been able to stand. Oh, fuck, in the last 10 minutes. I've just been crawling through this stuff. But it's nice. It smells nice, at least. How am I going to get through there? Definitely, there's a size restriction. Louie, come on. What are you doing? Let's go over here. Definitely, there's a size restriction when it comes to crawling through the chaparral, okay? All right? If I was like 40 pounds heavier, you know, I might be a different shape, and I might not be able to make it through the spots in between some of these bushes and shit, you know, mostly scrub oaks. Fuck, I don't even know, you know, so indecent. I don't even know the species of scrub oak I'm going through. I did at one point, but I haven't been here in a few years. Wow, I got a little bit. Oh, we're going back in down here. What is this, Quercus palmeri? $10 says this is all the same genetic individual of this scrub oak, of this Quercus. You know, a nice look at the leaves right there. See that? Evergreen, slightly toothed margin. But look at it. Wonder how old it is. Probably a couple hundred years. I don't know. When's the last time a fire came through? Evidently not for a while, judging by the size of some of these cypress. Oh, this is nice. See, it opens up. Get that sun. Don't have to worry about ticks as much. Get rid of that dense canopy. And you're just surrounded by cypress. And again, that bright red soil, which is just the weathered gabbro. Came up here once and it was snowy. It was like January. You know, we were dicking around in the desert and decided to pay old Guatai a visit. Came up here, there was like about an inch deep layer of snow on the ground. So this population of this species is cold tolerant, but I've not heard the same about some of the more southern populations growing down by, what is it, Socorrito in Baja. Let's check this guy out. Okay, look at that, beautiful. This is like, I don't know, I guess you call it an adult. They get a lot bigger than that. I've seen them about twice that diameter at breast height. But again, that beautiful pink, smooth bark. That peeling bark. If you know, there's a species of Hesperocypris bakeri, that will grow in Chicago. It's so cold tolerant. That's a more northerly species that grows in Modoc and Siskiyou County in Northern California. This one is surely not that hardy. But I'm just saying, if you're going for that texture of the bark, you could do that, you know, even if you live in a place where it gets really cold. Anyway, here's those cones that I was telling you about. As you can see, that's an old one. This is probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 years old at least, but you can see it's got those scales. Pry those open with a screwdriver to let the seeds out, or you could just take the cone off and put it, you know, in a pan on the dashboard of a car parked in the sun, and the heat will just cause those to open. You could dump the seeds out. And here's what they look like when they're a little bit fresh. You generally want the fresher cones because the seed's probably going to be a little bit more viable. But you could see that. Look at those. You got those umbos, those little horns in the center of each scale. The foliage smells absolutely fucking pleasant, like lemon-scented foliage. Look at it. Just a bunch of little imbricate decussate scales. Como se dice decussate? So take a couple of those cones, and you could, yeah, like I said, prime up with a screwdriver, put them in a dashboard of a car. Could also put them in a food dehydrator for a little bit, and they'll open. But normally they don't open until a fire comes through, a low-burning fire comes through, and opens, you know, melts the resin between them. There's no trouble to walk through at all. Such a pleasant canopy, dappled shade, but enough to prevent all the other scrubby stuff from growing beneath it. And again, they're only here because they can, this gabbro enables them to, you know, to grow basically without competition. You know, you've only got 3 species you got to compete with, versus in a regular soil, aka a non-toxic soil, you're gonna have a lot of species you got to compete with. But here, you know, the lack of competition due to the toxicity of the soil is what makes them restricted to it. They don't need gabbro soil and cultivation. You can grow these in a yard, no problem. Look at it. Oh, that's nice. It smells so nice. How old is that? Probably, I don't know, 5-6 years. Again, in cultivation, they grow fast as hell. And great for illegal planting, too, in California. I planted one, I don't know, in 6 years, it got 20 feet tall. Fucking banger of a plant. Look at it. Oh, that's nice. Look at how that green lichen contrasts so wonderfully with the weathered gabbro and the bark of Hesperocypris forbesii. Now, all these individuals are probably the same age, too. They all probably germinated after the same fire. Who knows how long ago that may have been. This is great mountain lion territory as well. Louis, watch out. Been in a Tecate cypress woodland before? Huh? You ever been soothed by Tecate cypress. Look at it, fucking bark. Look at it. Oh, that's nice. Nice pattern. Set that as the background on your phone. I don't know what the fuck. Almost like a pink camo thing going on. Again, that it just exudes that resin wherever it's been burrowed into by an insect. So, the worse the drought is, the more stressed the trees are going to be when I get somebody burrowing into them, you know? And right here, we got one of my favorite individuals in this population. One of the most massive bastards of this species I've ever encountered. Look at that. Look how smooth that is. God damn, I can't get over it. Just a beautiful architecture, huh? It's like staring at a fucking Rothko, you know? If you like Rothko. If you don't, then, you know, I guess it's something else. Look at how fucking massive this guy is. How old. And so healthy, too, for being what appears to be a very old tree. Last time I was here, it was snowy. Oh, he is getting perforated, though. Look at that. Oh. They could probably reach this size in cultivation in a matter of 30 years, probably. You know, they were taking care of and getting moisture, but such a great fucking species. Okay, it's crazy that it occupies such a small area, too. But again, common. It's starting to get common in cultivation. More people got killing their lawns. And just as street trees, too. You know, go plant these on you know, next to a freeway on-ramp. Make it look all official and shit with like the stakes and whatnot. You know, landscapers will leave it alone, I bet. Oh, there's a juicy branch. Oh, look at all the cones on that. Look, you got like 200 cones just in a frame right there alone. And it's still, are they releasing pollen? See those little brown dots at the end? Those are the old male pollen cones, the old microstrobili. So they were yellow when they were fresh, and then they were dumping out pollen because these are wind pollinated. But they look like they're still holding on to some. Anyway, I'm going to take some of these and send it to any of the other native growers I know around here, in case they need some more seed to bring these further into cultivation. Oh, there's an exceptionally red-barked phenotype. Look at that. God damn. The color on that guy. Ah. You know, even if I get a tick out here, the potential that it has Lyme disease is very low. And you got to thank the western fence lizard for that. Because the western fence lizard has an antibody in its blood that, in effect, cleanses the ticks that feed on it of the Lyme disease spirochete. Look at all that moisture over there towards the Cuyamaca range. Look at it, towards Cuyamaca Peak. Ah, so pleasant to see this guy again. Glad he's still here. Really, that's all I got now. Go fuck yourself. Bye. Listen, don't judge me. I was gentle, okay? I came up here real soft, made sure not to break off any living limbs. I'm not looking forward to crawling through that fucking corn maze on the way back down this mountain. But it's real nice being up here, you know? All right, this guy may not be around in a few years. There's going to be a fire here eventually. But it's all part of the natural cycle. You just want to make sure, again, you get those controlled burns, those low maintenance, low burning fires, as opposed to the very high maintenance, high burning fires. See that? Oh, I love you. You get so gentle. So much more gentle than I am. Sensualbastards.com. There's probably a whole community of fungi and lichens. Oh, I think I'm pissing the ants off. Here they come. Fuck you guys. You rotten pricks. What are you going to do? Is it a native ant? You know, I guess if you're native, it's fine. I doubt they got the Argentine ants up here. Look, it's just dripping all the sap everywhere. They're coming down. They're mad. One of you already tried to bite me and it didn't do anything. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. You hear that scrub jay? There was just a scrub jay back there. That's all I got for you today. And hopefully you appreciate this species more. If you live in California, you should be planting it. My friend Adam Black says these are somewhat tolerant of, you know, a more humid climate, which I have not tested out in cultivation, but this is certainly a species that should be grown more. Because they're fucking bangers, man, you know? They don't live longer than 100, 200 years, but they really are a pretty special tree. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. You know what? Actually, over there on Cuyamaca Peak, there's a whole other, much rarer species of cypress, Cuyamaca cypress. Kind of looks more like an Arizona cypress, has a different smell to the foliage, bluer foliage, and it's much more cold tolerant. But we'll save that for another episode. But it's kind of interesting, you know, you get these two very rare species with a limited distribution growing relatively close to each other. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. Have a good rest of the afternoon. And, see if you can purchase some of these seedlings of these, if you feel so inclined. They sell them at a couple native nurseries here in Southern California. That's all I got. Have a great rest of your day. Go fuck yourself. Bye. Six different species of oak here. Okay, this is Quercus agrifolia, but it's a different phenotype. It's like a different variety. Look at how covered in trichomes that thing is. All right, both abaxial and adaxial surface. Again, that mint green Itzit color. Ah, you could tell it's from a more drought-stressed environment. It smells pretty good down here, though. Now we're at the base of the mountain. It smells kind of moist. Quick fucking bonus. We just got to show you this guy over here because this guy deserves some notoriety, right? This is red shanks. They call this the red shanks, all right? Look at those beautiful red stems. Member of the rose family, Rosaceae. This is the other species in the genus Adenostoma, the less common species. This is Adenostoma sparcifolium, okay? You can see why. God, the smell of all this chaparral shit, everything just coming out of these leaves is incredible. God damn. Anyway, there's those flowers are gone. They're white when they're going off. They're brown now. There's that foliage, all right? Very sparse, okay? That's the name, sparcifolium. Look, just linear foliage and photosynthetic stems. But the real showy shit right here is this bark, okay? This tree needs to get planted out more. Look at that. Look at that shaggy shit. Look at the shaggy bark. Oh, it feels so good, so smooth. I want to get caned with it. Huh? That's just me. Look at it. Look at it. What do you think the Kumeyaay were doing with this stuff? Do you think they were making some, what were they using it for? Maybe just nest for, fire starter material? Who knows? But this whole plant is just such a fucking banger, man. And of course, Adenostoma, you got that nitrogen fixing Frankia down there in the soil. The same bacteria that some members of the Rhamnaceae have, and the same genus of bacteria that members of Cassarinaceae have down there in the southern hemisphere. Okay, and actinomycete bacteria. But look at that goddamn bark, man. Just such a goddamn, just total iconic, somewhat highland chaparral plant of Baja California, Mexico, and Southern California. Look at it. God damn it. Look at that. Just the whole hillside composed of DG. Surprised they don't get people coming out here to take buckets of this stuff out. That's great for a top dressing, all right, for cacti, for a landscape, whatever. It's all just because of the coarse grain in that granite and the way that it breaks apart. Okay, so this is basically this is a great illustration of that phaneritic texture, that intrusive igneous coarse-grained texture. Each one of those just basically little crystals, and that's just the way that the parent material weathers. Look at it. Oh.